Anthony Hartwig here with a YSN special interview. Our YSN Mania bracket down to the Elite Eight, so we wanted to take time to kind of recognize the legends that made those 8 teams great. So our first legend of the past is the ace of the 2011 Poland softball team that won a state championship, Erin Gabriel. Erin, thank you so much for taking time to join us today.
Of course, I appreciate you having me.
So yeah, well, we're talking high school days. Can you imagine? It's been almost 10 years since you won that state title.
I know, actually, when you reached out to me, I was like, wow, that's going to take me back to some memories. And it brought back some really great memories that I thought back of on the seasons that I was at Poland.
Yeah, look back on those seasons that you're talking about. What are some memories that really stand out to you when you reflect on your time at Poland and your state championship?
Yeah, so like when I thought about it, what I was thinking about was how I got to grow up with all these girls since Poland's such a small community and we all grew up playing together. And then to finally win that state championship, especially after coming and being runners up the year before. So to win that state championship with the girls I grew up with was phenomenal. And then our coaching staff who did so much for Poland softball, which Coach Reed Lampour, Al Kozar, and Dom DeLuca, to have them all get a state championship too meant the world. And then I thought about our community and how they supported us throughout our run. I mean, our community was there throughout the whole run. You know, we got to have the students come and watch our state championship game, greeted us when we came back. So it really was just like all the way around, just an amazing experience.
Take us through that state championship game. You pitched a shutout at Keystone, a very good program that seems like they're always in that game. What kind of things went through your mind during that game?
Yeah, we were very familiar with each other, Keystone and us. We played each other multiple times throughout my career, and they were an excellent team. We knew we had to bring it if we were going to win that game. So preparing wise, I mean, I knew I threw against them before. They knew me as a pitcher. They knew what I had. So I remember I had to kind of switch things up and not just rely on my best pitches and kind of be unpredictable. And then we had to get some runs on the board, and they had very good pitching. So just holding out in that circle until we got some runs on the board.
You got one of those runs on the board. I was looking at the stats. You had an RBI. So what was it like kind of hitting and pitching in high school?
Yeah, I loved that because I just felt like it was a way for me to kind of mentally not have as much stress when you knew you had a bad inning, half inning in the circle, then you could go help yourself out when in the batter's box. So I really enjoyed being able to do both when I was in high school.
Obviously, your high school team forces relationships that last a lifetime. Who are some of your teammates that you keep in constant contact with, and your friendship kind of lasted through these 10 years?
Yeah, Jenna Modick and Emily Chandler are definitely the ones that I talk to the most. But I could reach out to any of my teammates now, and we stay together. Social media is great for that. You know what everyone's doing. So we keep in contact through social media, and I really feel that I could reach out to any of them, and especially the coaching staff too. I talk to Coach Reed Lampour a lot, and he's still been a rock for me, especially throughout my career at Tennessee. He was always supporting me also.
Yeah, you bring up your coaching staff. Just elaborate on some of the things they did to kind of build that foothold that you had that let you have such an incredible career as a softball player.
Yeah, I remember growing up in Poland and just how amazing just Poland softball was in general. They had a great coach throughout my years that I remember with Reed Lamport there. And I couldn't wait to play for him when I got to high school. And he just everyone had so much respect for him on the team. And he just led us throughout every practice, throughout every game. He was just that rock for our team. He stayed calm and steady. He was prepared and he knew what to do. And then Dom DeLuca was my pitching coach growing up. And when I got to high school, he continued to be my pitching coach, and he taught me everything I knew and taught my dad how to help coach me throughout those years. So I owe him all the credit in the world.
Your team had so much attention on it. Everyone kind of expected a lot of things out of you guys. How did you guys kind of keep yourself grounded throughout those seasons and produce the way you did?
Yeah, I remember that was really hard for me with the expectations, the constant expectations, and trying to achieve those expectations. And what we ended up having to do was, what are our expectations, not others? So we had to really kind of think, what are our goals as a team? What do we want to achieve? Not what do others expect from us?
You had more national attention on you than a lot of high school kids in this area. What kind of things did you do to kind of navigate that and deal with that and acknowledge it, but at the same time keep yourself grounded through your high school days?
Yeah, my parents were huge for me in that aspect. Both my parents are psychologists, so that's also very helpful. But I remember I was able to talk to them about how I was feeling and what I was going through, because there were some days where it did become a little too much to bear. So I was able to open up to them and also to my coaching staff, which really helped me a lot. So I was able to, have those outlets to go talk to.
You went on to do a lot of great things at Tennessee, pitched a couple perfect games, threw a no-hitter. Where does that state championship kind of rank in your memory bank of your softball career?
Oh, it's at the top for sure. Because like I said, it's different when you grow up playing with the girls. You grow up watching, those coaches and the community around you. So it's definitely a different experience when you're in a community like that. You win a state championship, and then, college is just completely different. You come together with a bunch of different people from across the country. So it's very different feeling.
What kind of ways are you keeping softball a part of your life now? You do private lessons, and I'm sure you probably coach some people up, right?
Yeah, I love the game. So any way that I can do it, I'm staying in it. So, I've even helped at Ursuline College. I've helped pull in high school, and just trying to stay as much involved in the game as I can.
I'm sure you've kept an eye on your former program. They got to the state semifinals last year.
Hmm.
What was it like to kind of see that program get back to where you left it?
Yeah, it was an incredible feeling to watch them, and I was in contact with some of the girls because I've helped some of the girls like Allie Natoli, Kylie Gross, and even before Ashley Wire. So, to be able to see those girls, carry on the legacy that is pulling softball was a great feeling.
Obviously, some of those seniors, uncertain times right now. We don't know if we're going to get a softball season. What kind of advice do you give to those players that are kind of going through it right now, whether they're going to play in college next year or not? Just kind of the expectations they had, and now they're having to deal with this.
Yeah, since there's so much that's unknown, I would just tell them, make sure you're practicing like you would be playing the next week. Make sure you're able to keep your mental game intact and be ready to go when you're called upon.
Yeah, and you guys are getting so many votes for this 2011 softball team. What's it mean to you that people still remember that team when they're going out and they're going to YSN, they're voting for you guys to kind of win this bracket?
Yeah, when you even reached out to me about it, I was just so surprised and just overwhelmed at the feeling that, we could have that type of an impact on people, that they would remember our team, because I remember the experience so well, and what, the community and the people that supported us and watched us meant to me.
I ask every high schooler that I interview this. So I'm going to ask you, when you look back on your softball career at Poland, what are some off the field memories that you have that really stick with you that help that team bond so well?
Well, especially for, with high school, you grow up with these girls, you grow up playing with them. So there's so many memories throughout the years, not just with high school. But I remember, for especially with the state run, to see our school and what they did for us and the support. The girls, like the bus rides. I just remember all of the bus rides and what we would do, the silly things that we would do. And, after practice, getting to go and enjoy hanging out with each other and doing that type of a thing. So very different experience in high school and getting to be relaxed with those friends compared to, moving to that next chapter into college.
Obviously, the college and high school is so different, especially when you played the level that you did. What are some things about high school that you wish kind of were the same in college? What are some things about high school softball that you kind of missed?
Well, there's a lot of the same. The thing is, the game never changes, so that's nice. But when you get to college, it is more of a job. There's a lot more on the line for everyone involved. And it's a much bigger stage. It's cool, though, that you get to come together with people from all across the country. So it's really great to get different ideas about different things, and not just on the field, but off the field also. So college is very different in that way compared to growing up with the girls in your community, all knowing the same thing, doing the same thing. So it was a really good, like, with the variety, I would say, was very different.
Academics have always been strong for you. You're a part of the all academic SEC team and all that stuff. Who are some teachers at the Poland High School that really helped you kind of throughout your high school days that kind of stick in your mind?
My first one that I thought of was Mrs. Moreland. She was my fourth grade teacher, so that was all the way back in Dobbins. Mr. Clace growing up, and then honestly, everyone I came into encounter with in high school, even if they weren't my teacher, I remember they had such a huge impact on me. So there was a lot of teachers that would reach out to me throughout the state run, throughout softball season. I also played soccer, and I remember they would ask me if I needed anything, needed any help. Everyone there, even, I remember Candy Finagi, who was in the front office. She would always help me out too. Madam Bay, who was our French teacher, just everyone and anyone was able to do anything for the students there.
How prepared do you think the Poland community and the school and the softball program made you for that next level? How prepared were you when you stepped foot onto Tennessee?
Yeah, I felt very prepared. Like I said, it was very different though, coming from such a close community where everyone helped everyone, to kind of being out on your own, which is just a different experience. You got to learn to grow up a little bit. But I felt very prepared with athletics and academic wise. I didn't feel like overwhelmed in either sense.
What was the culture shock like? You played with a bunch of girls you grew up with, and then you go to Tennessee, and you're playing with girls from all over the country. They recruit everywhere. So what was that like, kind of meshing with a different group of people, and talk about like kind of your first interactions with that team?
Yeah, it was very different, but it helped that with travel teams growing up, I was with girls from all over. Also, the junior national team that I played on, there was a couple girls that were on the Tennessee team that I already knew and talked to. So I remember when I got to campus that first day, they both reached out to me and they made sure if I needed anything. It was really great actually going that far away from home and being a part of a team, because your team like had your back. So I never felt alone. As soon as I got on campus, you felt like you were part of a team. So even though I was 8 hours away from home, like I felt like people were still there to help me.
When I talk to Poland players, they talk about how close knit the athletics program is as a whole. Talk about that from your perspective 10 years ago, how close the whole athletic program, from every athlete, how close they were as kind of a family.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that statement. Even 10 years ago, we were all very close. We all supported each other. We went to, different football games, soccer games, tennis, everything. We supported each other. I mean, the golf team was excellent when I was there too, and they went on state runs. So I remember working in the athletic office, and different athletes would work in there together. So we were very close as an athletic community.
And I ask every Poland player tells me that handles is a big
Oh,
spot
yeah.
to go to after the game because it's right down the road. What's your go-to handles order after like a softball game?
I like the Oreo dough or the Graham Central Station. So when I was growing up, they didn't have the Oreo dough, so
Oh,
I was always the Graham Central Station, but now I've switched.
yeah, it's still a great hangout there for all the players, so that it's still keeping up. What are some of the things that when you go back to Poland that you're kind of proud of, that you kind of represented Poland high school and you wore that blue?
Yeah, I'm just really proud of our community and the way that everyone like always carries themselves throughout our community. I have gone back to the high school, gotten to say hi to people, and everything just seems to be run right there. So I really admire the respect that our community has for themselves and one another.
So let's catch up 10 years later. What's Erin Gabriel up to nowadays? What do you got going on in your life?
Yeah, I'm about to graduate with my doctorate in physical therapy, which sports led me down that path. So I hurt my hip in college, and it led me down to wanting to do physical therapy. So I'm really hoping like my dream job would be in sports pediatrics for physical therapy. It would combine the best of both worlds for me when I get to work with kids and in sports. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, that hip injury, unfortunately, it makes you be able to relate with kids about missing kind of years of playing time that you otherwise would have kind of earned. Can you use that to kind of give people advice?
Yes, I definitely will use my experience and the way that I felt, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally going through an injury. When you're growing up, sports are kind of your identity. It's kind of your world. It's what you put so much into. So when that gets taken away from you, it really does affect every single aspect of your life. So I would love to be able to help people go through the same thing that I did.
Now that we're going through this quarantine and we're stuck at home, what's your favorite quarantine board game?
I actually have not played any board games, which is crazy. But I have played Uno with my parents and my brother, and I forgot how fun that game was. We played for like 2, 3 hours straight and did not get bored, so that was awesome.
Uno definitely counts. I'll count Uno. Yeah, how good is it to hit a draw four with your dad?
Oh, I made sure my dad picked up the most cards every single time.
All right. Erin, thank you so much for joining us here today. Remember, you can go to ysnlive.com/ysnmania to vote for 2011 Poland softball and all your other favorite teams from the past. Erin, thank you so much for joining us today, and have a good rest of the day, and go vote for your softball team.
Thank you for having me.